Do you know what this is?
I do. This is a labubu.
A labubu.
A labubu.
A labubu.
A labubu.
This is a labubu actually, and it's a blue labubu. I've never seen this one.
I don't collect labubus because they freak me out, but I do collect Smiskies.
I do a lot of shopping. Like I do a lot of clothing. I collect a lot of clothing.
Hi, my name's Angel, and I specifically collect like a lot of boy groups and girl group K-pop albums and photo cards. I've been collecting since the end of 2020, and I started collecting Treasure. That was my first album. I collected them for their debut. I would label myself as a really big multi-stan because I collect like over 20 groups. That includes boy groups, girl groups, soloists too. So I started collecting at the end of 2020 because I just finished watching this survival show of this group, and it was called YG Treasure Box. And I really liked the group, and I really liked the final lineup, and there was like 12 of them. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick my top 3, and when their album comes out, I'm gonna collect them. And my friend was like, yeah, I will buy the album and we'll unbox it together. So that's what started my collection. I'm part of like a really good community there. So like K-pop community, it's really nice. You make a lot of friends really easily, and you find a lot of connections just like, oh, you collect this group? Yes, I collect this group. So then you become like mutual friends that way. And then it's really nice to like trade with one another, like during events and stuff. So if you go to a cup sleeve event, you're like, oh, I have photo cards or I have albums, and you're just like, I want to trade. And then that's why I keep doing it. So if the photo card or the album concept is really cute, I really want to collect it because it just makes it look like really nice on like my shelf or something. The aesthetic is there. And so I really like just like seeing the pictures and stuff. I think other people are the same. They just want to support their idols too. So that's the reason why we buy like albums and photo cards. I think having a collection is like having a hobby. So it's something fun to do in your spare time. And I think collecting is like something that took up a lot of my time, but it was like well spent time. Like I made a lot of connections. I met a lot of new people. And I know it's just a piece of paper or cardboard, but I think like it holds value in more ways than just being a piece of paper.
Hi, my name is Trudy and I collect Smiskies. I've been collecting Smiskies since about a couple years ago, just right after high school, I think. I'm pretty casual in just how I buy them because I think a lot of them are always, my friends give them as gifts for me, so that's why I have so many. I began my first collection through, I think I was window shopping with my parents at Markville Mall, and then I saw this Smisky and I pointed to it. I was like, hey, I want that. And then I asked my mom, she was like, okay, your money, you can do whatever. So I decided to get it. I think one of the most special moments is when I get to open them with friends, and when I just get to just have a chance to be able to guess what that Smisky just might be when I open it. And then I think after, it's just like seeing all my friends' reactions, and it just makes me happy that I'm opening it and that my friends are with me together. I purchased Smiskies over other blind boxes just because they can glow in the dark. And I think that's a really cool aspect in collectibles, in that it's not just sitting there low-key collecting dust, but it's like when I turn off the lights and I'm about to go to sleep, I can just look around my room and just see all these like tiny stars in the night sky. And it just brings me a lot of comfort, and it's really nice to look at. A lot of people just like to post a lot of social media posts regarding Smiskies. And I think I have partaken in that with my Instagram stories. I like to just post them with like famous landmarks. Like when I went to Japan, I just like held out a Smisky, and then I took a picture of the Tokyo Tower, and then I posted it. I think collecting has just opened my eyes to how impulsive I might be sometimes, especially when it's like a limited edition product, and I'm like, it's like right there and it's on sale, and I'm like, well, I really want to get it. But I think I just have to be more considerate of how much I am spending on these products and just how useful they really are to my everyday life. I think the biggest drawback as a collector is just how much money you have to spend into just getting these collectibles. But I think the greatest benefit is just being happy when you collect them. And it's just like when you open it, it's like dopamine rush. And it's like that moment is like worth the amount of money that I spend.
What do you think is overconsumption to you? So to me, I feel like overconsumption is when you have so much of the same product, but you just don't use all of it. And I feel like overconsumption is something that a lot of people, especially young adults, struggle with.
I think overconsumption, in my view, is when you're like collecting something and at first it's bringing you joy, right? But then suddenly, like, when you're not able to get it, you start like feeling really awful about yourself. And then like it's not about like collecting something for yourself anymore. It's about collecting it because if you don't, oh my God, like it's over. So overconsumption to me is just like an unhealthy mindset that like is really normalized.
I think that overconsumption is something that like falls under the radar, and it's kind of a gray area because on one hand there's like, oh, let people have fun, but on the other hand there's like the environment and you're kind of ruining it. But I think the main difference between the two is just purpose. If you're just collecting something because it's a trend and you want to be included, then that's like, but if you're collecting something because it genuinely interests you, then that's something else.
My name is Andrew Gibson. I'm an economist with the University of Waterloo. I teach mostly low-level theory classes, but I also do some academic research work into the management of luxury firms and the economic theory surrounding that, and some consulting work with banks and all the good fun stuff that economists get up to. The idea of overconsumption seems to have a lot of meaning behind it, but I think it's more interesting to think about, what do you think overconsumption means? Because when we're thinking about economic theory, you have a consumer that has preferences and they have some sort of a budget, and they'll distribute that budget over whatever set of goods and services they desire in a way that maximizes their utility. It becomes very hard from the perspective of economics to say there is such a thing as overconsumption. The economic times are different. This is the first time really in human history that the average person has had surplus capital, spending money, basically. Certainly this idea of having money to spend on consumer goods is fairly universal. I mean, there's still areas of the world that are underdeveloped and don't have that kind of free capital. They still spend most of their money on food and housing. But certainly within North America, Europe, the average person now has this kind of extra spending money. The reason why people wake up in the morning is to go to work and to make money. So if the market has a lot of demand, it means that people have reasons to get up and go make something. And if that something is a labubu, then fine. So it becomes a little bit difficult for me to separate this idea of overconsumption from economic potential. So I had this statement of people are choosing whether to either consume or invest. Well, what are you investing in? You're investing in the economy. You're investing in equipment and machinery and businesses that produce something. But in order for that business to have a return on the invested capital, they have to produce something that people buy. Something that I find interesting in collecting is watches. And one of the reasons why I would wear a nice watch when I go out is because I like talking to other people that are into watches, right? It's kind of a big welcome sign to say, hey, come up and talk to me about Grand Seiko or something, because it's something that I find interesting and I'd love to talk to other human beings that are similar to me about. It's kind of difficult to say, but I think the most important lesson here is to be yourself. If what you want is a labubu, then buy a labubu. If it's not really what you want, but everyone has one and you're doing it just so that you're not picked on, well, that's overconsumption. You're buying something you don't need. It doesn't serve a purpose, which is fine, but it also doesn't even serve you a purpose. It's more for other people. So I think it's okay for people to spend money on useless things as long as it's the useless things that they love.